What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. Today is Pokemon Day, so happy Pokemon Day, everyone. Which means that tomorrow we will be getting Pokemon Presents, which is actually live streaming at 6 a.m. my time. So yippee for me. I will be live streaming it though, so feel free to hang out with me tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 o'clock East Coast on Twitch. But in honor of Pokemon Day and Pokemon Presents being tomorrow, today I wanted to go over yet another leaked itinerary that came across my Twitter page. And apparently this one seems to have some merit, because even the skeptics are saying that they can't confirm with certainty that it's fake. So today we're gonna talk about it. So if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe so that you're always up to date with the latest Pokemon news, and give this video a thumbs up so that we can push it out into the YouTube algorithm so that more Pokemon fans can see it. And if you would like another way to support the channel, please feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. And we can have matching sweatshirts. But let's go ahead and hop into the tea. Now, when I tell you that the tea is piping hot and fresh, I mean it. Because literally 2 hours ago, Pearl Enthusiast tweeted out this tweet that says, "So what do you guys think of this new Pokemon Presents leak? For once, I can't call it immediately fake, except for the Johto part. I still think it's fake though, which we love a skepticist, we love a realist. We love when people make you think critically about the information that you're reading. But the fact that Pearl Enthusiast literally comes right out and says, I can't really tell you guys if this is all fake, I feel like that means something. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what this new itinerary might be. So it looks like up first it says Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers DX, and it looks like we might be getting a remake of Explorers of Time / Darkness / Sky, and the demo will be available on March 23rd, which honestly, this doesn't seem too far-fetched for me, just because it was leaked that the developers of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon were supposed to be included in Pokemon Presents. However, I have also heard that that copyright has been taken out now, so still a little wishy-washy, but definitely a possibility. And then it looks like next up it says Detective Pikachu returns. So it looks like we'll be getting a sequel to the Detective Pikachu game with downloadable episodic cases in summer 2023. Okay, so maybe not the movie, but it looks like we might be getting a new Detective Pikachu game, which that sounds kind of cool, having the little episodes of like different cases that you have to solve. I actually kind of love that. As for Pokemon Cafe Remix, it looks like they will be adding the Paldea starters. For Pokemon Unite, they're going to be adding Zacian, which I'm not going to lie, I myself have never played Pokemon Cafe or Pokemon Unite, but I'm sure some of y'all will be fans of those additions. Now, Pokemon Go, that is a game that I do play, and it looks like we'll be getting a Gimmighoul event, which is about time because they have not done anything in Pokemon Go with Gimmighoul since they literally released it one random day after Community Day. And for this event, it says, send postcards from Go to Scarlet and Violet to get a sparkly incense and coin bag, which I actually mentioned in a Pokemon Go video that they were supposed to be adding things like a new incense and some other items that had to do with the Paldea region. So this part, this Pokemon Go part, for me, this seems very plausible because data miners did already find assets for these within the data for Pokemon Go. And remember, eventually down the line, we are supposed to be able to connect Pokemon Go to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet through Pokemon Home. So I could definitely see why Pearl Enthusiast says that they can't really confirm that this is all fake, because a lot of this sounds very plausible, at least so far, but let's continue on. So the next section here is about Pokemon Nintendo Switch Online, so like the online Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, and it says Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow are to be added to the Nintendo Switch Online, and they're working on Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Home compatibility, as well as Game Boy games also available to buy separately. Oh, I really hope that's real, which before we go on to the rest of the itinerary, I think that this is also very likely because Joe Merrick tweeted this out this morning because obviously today is Pokemon Day, and his tweet says, on this day 27 years ago, Pokemon Red and Green were released in Japan and the franchise began. So in my head, it makes sense for them to add the original games that started the franchise for this Pokemon Presents because it's literally the anniversary of when they started, which I guess technically that's a thing for like every Pokemon Day because Pokemon Day is quite literally the anniversary of Pokemon. But this is a big year for Pokemon because we did hit 1,000 Pokemon this year. So this is like a big milestone year for them. So it makes sense for them to put the games that started it all on the console that got them to 1,000 Pokemon. But moving on to the next part of the itinerary. So next up we have Pokemon Home, and it says Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Home compatibility available next week, which honestly I hope that's true because we've been waiting for 5,000 years at this point. I'm obviously exaggerating, but but it's been a long time. So I would hope that we would get Pokemon Home compatibility announced during Pokemon Presents. Next up, it says Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 7-star raid, which the Pikachu raids are supposed to end tomorrow, literally like right after Pokemon Presents finishes being a thing, which is what I've been saying, is that I think that they are going to have another 7-star raid announcement during Pokemon Day that's not a Pikachu, because obviously the Pikachu was more of like a gimmick 7-star event to celebrate Pokemon Day, which here it says Surfing Pikachu and Hisuian Decidueye raids, which everybody was wondering when we were gonna get a grass starter, because so far we've gotten fire starters, we have Greninja, which is a water starter, so now all we need to round off the trio is a grass starter. And if we are getting Pokemon Home connectivity announced during Pokemon Day, it would make sense for them to add a Hisuian starter to the mix, since we are supposed to be able to transfer Hisuian Pokemon to Scarlet and Violet once we do get that connection. So dang, this leak is feeling pretty strong. And then up next it says Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC Holiday Tour Pass. Holiday Tour Pass? What? Hold on. So 2 parts, the Golden City and the World Awakens. So it looks like supposedly we are going to be getting a 2-part DLC, just like in Sword and Shield when we got the Crown Tundra DLC and the Isle of Armor. And it says the themes are wishes and adventure. And we're supposed to be getting the first round June 23rd, so summer, and then around holiday time on November 23rd. So if this is listed in like logical order, it looks like the Golden City will be the one that's released on June 23rd, and the World Awakens will be released on November 23rd, which makes me think that the first DLC area for the Golden City is going to be that kind of blocked off area where the 3 dragon trainers are with the Kalos dragons, and the World Awakens is going to be the grayed out area where Area 0 is, that has the same kind of DLC little grayed out bars. And then it says, explore northeastern Paldea where a land of bounty awaits. So according to this, it's not gonna be anything related to Kalos, it's gonna be a different part of Paldea. So I'm sorry to all of my Kalos stans. This newest leak does not point towards Kalos. It also says, hunt the Mirage's Storm Chaser and Iron Sickle, which I assume might be referring to the legendaries that we've already been talking about, the Paradox Suicune and the Paradox Virizion, because it does look like there are Scarlet and Violet exclusives, whatever they're talking about, but those are definitely weird names for them, so I don't know. The names are kind of throwing me off. And then it says, soothe the restless Terra Scalpa, the Sublime Pokemon. Is this the name of the 3rd legendary, Terra Scalpa? I mean, they've been blocking out the name of the 3rd legendary this entire time, so like honestly it could be anything, but like if that's what it's called, that's weird. But it does say that it's the Sublime Pokemon, so if that is the name of the 3rd legendary, that's a very interesting name. I don't know how I feel about that. And then it says, one last thing, Pokemon Electrum, new concept 2.5D reimagining of Johto games for spring of 2024. Okay, so this is the one thing that Pearl Enthusiast said they didn't think that that was real, which honestly, I feel like, yeah, that is kind of a random thing to throw in there, so I don't know how real that is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we are getting a Johto remake, but I don't know, something about that kind of throws me through a loop too. So I don't know, you guys, like I said, that seems like a pretty strong itinerary. Like that one seems a lot more believable than the one I went over a couple of videos ago, especially when it comes to like the Terra raids and like the DLC and all of that. Everything just makes a lot more sense in this one, but it is still a leak since we won't know until tomorrow, so all of it could be wrong. But let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear what your opinions are and what you expect is going to be announced tomorrow during Pokemon Day. Me personally, I can definitely see them, 1, announcing the Pokemon Home connectivity, 2, announcing the DLC, and 3, I feel almost certain that they are going to add the Pokemon retro games to the Nintendo Switch Online account, just because we have so much evidence kind of like leaning towards it, from them already confirming that they're adding the Pokemon TCG, to them announcing last year that we are going to be getting Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, and because this was the year that we hit 1,000 Pokemon, and it is the 27th anniversary of Pokemon Red and Green being released in Japan, which are literally the games that started this entire crazy franchise. So I feel like it just makes sense for them to add the retro games. But like I said, I would love to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comments. But hopefully you guys found this video entertaining, and thank you to each and every single one of you who have joined the channel as members. I appreciate you all so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.